At any party where the drinks keep flowing long enough, two people always show up. One is hugging a complete stranger and telling them they're the best person on the planet. The other is smashing a bar stool because somebody looked at him the wrong way. Same drink, same ethanol molecule, two completely different people on the other side. You probably already know which one of those two is you. The real question is, why that one? What decides whether you turn into a drunk angel or a drunk monster? Most people are pretty sure they know the answer. Alcohol strips away the mask and shows you who you really are. Mean on the inside means mean when you're wasted. Kind on the inside means you'll be handing out hugs. But science tells a very different story. And that story starts with a group of researchers who actually sat down and counted how many types of drunks there are. In 2016, psychologists at the University of Missouri tested 374 people. Each participant and a close friend were asked to describe their personality both sober and drunk. The researchers ran the data through cluster analysis and found 4 consistent types. First, the Hemingway. The biggest group, almost 41%. People who barely change under alcohol. They drink, but they stay themselves. Named after Hemingway, who bragged he could put away as much whiskey as he wanted and still keep his head straight. Second, Mr. Hyde, 22.5%. The ones who lose both friendliness and self-control at the same time. The highest rate of alcohol-related trouble out of all 4 groups. And here's the surprise. 2/3 of this group were women, the complete opposite of the stereotype. Third, the Nutty Professor, almost 20%. Quiet introverts who suddenly become the life of the party after a few drinks. The most dramatic personality shift of all 4 types, yet almost no negative consequences. And fourth, Mary Poppins, 14%. People who are already warm and agreeable when sober and lose less of that warmth under alcohol than anyone else. The fewest drunk problems of any group. As if alcohol just can't touch them, at least not in a bad way. 4 types, 4 completely different versions of the same night. The question is, what determines which one you end up in? And the answer starts with a single metaphor that 2 psychologists came up with over 30 years ago. In 1990, Claude Steele and Robert Josephs published a theory they called alcohol myopia, which basically means alcohol nearsightedness. Alcohol suppresses glutamate, the brain's main excitatory neurotransmitter, and boosts GABA, the main inhibitory one. Because of that, your brain starts processing less information at once. Long-term consequences, other people's discomfort, your own moral guardrails, all of it drops out of view. The only thing left is whatever signal is brightest right in front of you. In other words, alcohol turns your attention into a flashlight. Wherever that beam is pointed, that's where all your energy goes. A hostile glare from a stranger, and you're swinging. A sad friend sitting next to you, and you're wrapping your arms around them. An attractive person at the bar, and you forget you came here with your partner. Steele and Josephs pulled together data from dozens of experiments and showed that in situations of strong inner conflict, the kind where you want to do something but your conscience says don't, intoxicated participants deviated from the control group by 1.4 standard deviations. When there was no conflict, the difference was basically 0. And here's what's really interesting. In one experiment, participants were asked to do an incredibly boring task, and then someone asked them face-to-face to keep going for another half hour. The drunk participants agreed to help far more often than the sober ones. Alcohol can actually make people kinder, but only when saying no feels awkward. The flashlight landed on the discomfort of refusing, and the person said yes. So alcohol on its own doesn't make you kind or cruel. It just takes away your ability to hold more than one thought in your head at a time. But then why do some people keep turning into Hydes, the aggressive ones, over and over, while others keep going in for hugs every single time? If it all depends on the situation, where does that consistency come from? Because everyone's flashlight points in a different direction by default, and that direction is set by things you never chose. So what tilts the flashlight toward aggression in some people and toward warmth in others? Start with serotonin. In a 1995 experiment, men were given a special amino acid mixture with tryptophan removed. Tryptophan is the raw material your brain needs to build serotonin. Without it, serotonin levels dropped for several hours. After that, the participants were given alcohol and put into a game where they could deliver electric shocks to an opponent. The ones with lowered serotonin hit the hardest. Serotonin is basically a chemical leash on aggression. Alcohol loosens that leash on its own, but if your baseline level is already low, the leash snaps first. But serotonin is only part of the story. There's also the connection between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex.